Should BRICS expansion be seen as a move against the West?
I think at this juncture, it depends on which BRICS member we're talking about. We have to understand that this is a grouping of countries that, commonly view their mission as elevating the interests of the global South, in some form presenting an alternative to a U.S.-led global order. But there are critical differences in views among the five members of the BRICS. And for them, expansion, just as Fifi mentioned, is something that they don't all agree on. Nor is, I think, this sense of the extent to which BRICS as a platform, as a configuration, ought to be, truly presenting something of a threat to or a challenge to the West, U.S. global order, and the G7 even, right, as an alternative to the G7. So India, sees things very differently, for example, than China and Russia.
Margaret, I also want your take on one of the other major headlines coming into this summit, and it is the possibility that BRICS could dethrone the dollar, perhaps even coming up with a common trading currency among this bloc. Do you think that's ever going to materialize?
It's my sense that the way that South Africa has described it is perhaps the most accurate characterization. And the South African government, the president there has suggested that South Africa and the BRICS in general are not interested in dethroning the dollar necessarily, but rather diversifying the currency reserves that countries in the global South and indeed internationally use when doing trade or conducting other transactions to decrease at the very least reliance on the dollar. And we're seeing this play out globally. There has been a real effort on the part of China to internationalize its currency for many years now. This is part of that, and certainly China is pushing this agenda through BRICS. But the BRICS members also appear to be on board with China's agenda, China's interest, and this broader interest in diversifying the currencies that they are using. The extent to which they'll be able to dethrone the dollar entirely, I think, is limited. There are certain natural limits in place that would prevent, these countries from fully, using yuan, for example, as opposed to dollars to trade or conduct other transactions.